Hello everyone, welcome to C. Patel Metallurgy. We are going to solve questions of mechanical metallurgy which were asked in GATE 2017. So first we'll see 1 marks question and after that we'll see 2 marks question. So let us move on. The first question is a brittle material whose Young's modulus is 60 GPa and surface energy is equal to 0.5 joule per meter square has a surface crack of length 2 micrometer. The fracture strength in MPa of this material is. So there is a brittle material. Suppose this is the brittle material. And here it is given that there is a surface crack. So this is a surface crack. And what is the length of this crack? 2 micrometer. If the crack is inside of the material, then it will be something like this. Okay. Now, and Young modulus of the material, that is elastic modulus or Young modulus, that is called as, is 60 GPa. Right. And the surface energy is 0.5 joule per meter square. Right. So we need to find the fracture strength. Fracture strength is basically the strength at which this material will fail. So there is a formula. So this is a directly formula based question. The fracture strength is 2E gamma s upon pi c to the power half. Right. So we'll put the values. Two into 60 GPa, right? So 16 to 10 power 9 into gamma s. Gamma is nothing but 0.5. Pi is 3.14 into c. C is how much? Wait. C is how much? 2 micrometer. 2 into 10 power minus 6. Okay. So if you calculate this one, then your answer will be 97.7. This I have calculated in MPa. Right? Okay. Now let us move to next question. Both creep resistance and tensile strength of a material can be enhanced by increase in the grain size, decrease in the grain size, addition of dispersoid annealing. So here it is asking about creep resistance and tensile strength. We need to increase both, right? So creep resistance is basically high temperature deformation resistance. Like material will not go under much deformation at high temperature. Tensile strength is basically strength, that is the maximum load, the maximum strength. Maximum strength, right? So what is the effect of grain size on creep resistance? We know that as the grain size increases, the creep resistance also increases, right? Creep resistance also. But as the grain size increases, the tensile strength decreases, because tensile strength gives the property at room temperature, and this, when we increase the grain size, then the dislocation pinning activity happens in a lesser amount. Okay, so can it be by decrease in grain size? No. So we can do it using addition of dispersoid. So what is basically dispersoid? Dispersoid is nothing. Suppose there is a matrix, like suppose there is a matrix, and in the matrix we add some foreign particles. These are hard particles. So when these are the hard particles which are put, then what happens whenever the dislocations move, then these dislocations are hindered using these particles. So when it hinders at low temperature also and high temperature also. So high temperature will give us creep resistance, and at low temperature also it will give us the tensile strength. So both can be increased with the addition of dispersoid. Okay. Now let us move to next question. Stress required to operate a Frank Reed source of length L is approximately given by. So we'll understand Frank Reed source. So Frank Reed source tells that suppose there is a dislocation. Okay, this is the dislocation line of length L, and these are pinned at the two ends, and if you apply some amount of stress, then what happens? It bends. It starts bending, and when it starts bending, slowly what happens? It starts to make a curvature. When it starts to make a curvature, then ultimately what happens? The curvature looks like this. And since this is dislocation, so here suppose it is positive, negative, both are of opposite, then these two attract, and ultimately it forms a new dislocation loop. Okay, so there is a generation of new dislocation. So what is the force which is required over here? Force is nothing but GB upon L. Okay, so remember this one. This is a direct formula based question, but it is GB by L. Okay, next question. A rod is elastically deformed by a uniaxial stress resulting in a strain of 0.02. If the Poisson ratio is 0.3, the volumetric strain is. Okay, so suppose this is a material and we are applying in one direction, the load is applied, and the total strain over here is 0.02, right? And the Poisson ratio is 0.3. So we need to find volumetric strain. So volumetric strain is strain along x direction, strain along y direction, strain along z direction. Suppose this is the x direction. Okay, so according to the formula, if Ex is equal to epsilon x is equal to 0.02, then epsilon y is equal to what? Minus mu into Ex. This is the formula. Okay, so strain along y direction we will calculate using minus 0.3 into 0.02, right? Similarly, strain along z direction will be what? Same, minus mu epsilon x. So this is also same. So E volume is equal to Ex plus Ey plus Ez, that is 1 minus 2 mu Ex, right? So Ey is equal to minus mu E, Ez equal to minus mu E, minus mu E. So this will be 1 minus 2 mu. So we can directly calculate from this also, or you simply add this one. So 1 minus 2 into 0.3 into 0.02. So the answer of this will be 0.008. Right? So this is your solution. Okay, guys. Now let us move to 2 marks question. Okay. The first question is, a steel component is subjected to fatigue loading where sigma max is equal to 200 MPa and sigma minimum equal to 0. The component has an initial crack length of 1 mm. Okay. Propagation of crack is governed by dA upon dN is equal to 10 to the minus 12 delta K to the power 3, where the crack length A is in meter, N is the number of cycles, delta K is in MPa, root over M. The length of the crack in meter after 1 million cycles. So 1 million cycles, that means 10 to the power 6 cycles will be. Okay guys, so now let us write the equation first. dA upon dN is equal to 10 to the power minus 12 delta K to the power 3. Right? We know that K is equal to sigma root under pi A, right? So K max will be sigma max root under pi A, right? And K mean equal to sigma mean root under pi A. And since sigma mean here it is given 0, so K minimum is equal to what? 0. Okay. So delta K will be what? Sigma max root under pi A minus 0, right? So that is equal to sigma max root under pi A. Okay. Now, so we'll put delta K in this equation. dA upon dN is equal to 10 to the power minus 12 sigma max root under pi A power 3, right? Okay. So sigma max is here, it is given as 200 MPa, right? And what is the unit of delta K? Delta K, the unit is in MPa. So we'll take this value directly, we'll take 200. Okay. Root under pi, that is 3.14 to the power 3 by 2 to 8 power 3 by 2 we will write. Okay, this we are trying to make such that this is a constant term and this is A, and so we will integrate over this to calculate after the 1 million cycle. Okay, let me take a slide over here. Okay, so from back equation, dA upon dN is equal to 10 power minus 12 200 cube 3.14 3 by 2 8 power 3 by 2, right? So dA upon A 3 by 2 is equal to 10 power minus 12 200 cube 3.14 3 by 2 dN, right? Then we will integrate. What is the A initial? That is A0 equal to 1 mm, and we need to find in meter, so that will be minus 10 power minus 3 meter, right? And A we need to find, that is A final, and N initial equal to 0, then N final equal to what? 10 power 6, right? And so from this, if you do the integration, then it will be minus 3 by 2 plus 1 minus 3 by 2 plus 1, right? 10 power minus 3 to A, that is AF. Okay, now the constant term of this will be, let me see the calculation which I have done. That is equal to 4.45 into 10 power minus 5 to N. N is nothing but 10 power 6, right? Equal to 44.5, right? And further, if you do the calculation here, and 8 power minus 1 by 2 right? If you calculate from this, then A you will get as 0.011 meter, right guys? So you do calculation over here yourself and you will find the answer. So this is the method to find. Next question. At low temperature, two parallel edge dislocations lying on parallel slip planes are shown in different configuration, that is P, Q, R and S. So if you see the P, then what are the different stages of that will be like the dislocations: repel dislocation, attract dislocation, are in stable equilibrium, dislocation are in unstable equilibrium. If you see the option P, the dislocations are of same sign, but since the one dislocation is just above the dislocation, so this is in equilibrium state, right? And this is in stable equilibrium, right? If you see option Q, then these are of same sign, but the angle between them is greater than 45 degree, and that is 60 degree. So there will be what? Attraction. So from the theory you can see. Option C, the dislocations are of opposite sign, but they are separated by some slip planes over there. So this will be what? This will be in equilibrium, but that will not be a equilibrium, stable equilibrium. This will be in unstable equilibrium. Okay. In the S, the dislocations are of opposite nature. Once these are separated by the angle of greater than 60 degree. So this is opposite to option Q, where there was attraction, so there will be repulsion over here. So the correct option will be P will match with dislocations which are in stable equilibrium, Q will match with attract each other, R will match with unstable, S will match with 1. Okay, so this corresponds to option A. Okay, now let us move to next question. A single crystal of FCC metal is subjected to a sufficiently large tensile stress along the 110 direction to activate some of the slip system. Which one of the following slip system will be activated? Okay, so this is a problem of critical resolved shear stress, that is CRSS, right? Whenever the CRSS is maximum, for the cases where it is the maximum, so from there the plastic deformation takes place, right? So we will draw this one. Suppose this is a single crystal and this is the area where stress is applied. Okay, so now the direction at which the stress is applying is suppose 110 here, let us mark. And these are the slip system, the whatever it is written over here. So these are the various types of slip systems which are over here. Okay, so we will consider one by one. This is the plane normal and this is the direction, suppose D vector, right? We know CRSS is equal to sigma applied upon cos, it is with theta and lambda. So cos theta into cos lambda. Theta is the angle between the normal and the applied force direction, and lambda is the angle between the applied force direction and the direction of propagation of basically slip direction, basically that is called as slip direction. So we have four options, so we'll find using cos, we'll consider theta 1, then consider cos theta 2, cos theta 3 for 4 cases, theta 4, cos lambda 1, cos lambda 2, cos lambda 3, cos lambda 4. Then we'll check for which case it is the maximum value. Okay, so let us check for cos theta 1, that is n direction. So for case 1, the n direction will be what? N direction will be basically n direction, let me write here, n direction will be 1 1 1, right? And for the cos theta 2, the n direction will be here 1 1 1 bar, right? Cos theta 3, it will be 1 1 bar 1. Cos theta 4 will be here 1 bar 1 bar, right? And here for lambda 1, let us write the slip direction, that is the d vector. Cos theta 1, it will be 1 bar 1 0. Then for lambda 2, 0 1 1, theta 3, 0 1 1, then 1 1 0. Okay, so for cos theta 1, we know how do you find cos theta. So a dot b is equal to a b cos theta, right? So cos theta equal to a vector dot product will be vector modulus of a modulus b, right? We will directly apply this formula. So cos theta 1 will be the first case, the direction, the normal direction is 1 1 1, and the force of direction is 1 1 0. So it will be 2 divided by root under 2 into root under 3, right? For the next case, it will be it will be 2 divided by root 3 into root 2, right? Then in the third case, it will be 0 upon root 3 into root 2, right? And the fourth case, it will be 0 upon root 3 root 2, right? Let us find for lambda 1. So this direction is what? The direction is 1 bar 1 0, and the force direction is 1 1 0. So it will be what? 0 upon root 2 into root 2. For lambda 2, it will be 1 root 2 into root 2. Lambda 3, it will be 1 root 2 into root 2. Okay, for lambda 4, it will be 1 root 2 into root 2. Okay, so here you can see, since tau is equal to sigma cos theta into cos lambda, so we will find the product of cos theta and cos lambda. So here this is 2 by root 2 into root 3, multiply with this one 0 value, then it will be what? 0. And here it will be what? 2, there will be some value, 2 root 3 into root 2, here it will be 2, right? And here if you multiply 0 with this, it will be 0. Again here it will be what? 0, right? So in the case of option B only, we are getting the maximum value of cos theta into cos lambda. So the option B will be the correct answer. Okay, this was a lengthy question. Okay guys, now let us move to next question. A perfectly elastic plastic material has a yield stress of 450 MPa and fractures at a strain of 0.45. Okay, the ratio of resilience to toughness for this material is. Here it is given that the material is perfectly elastic plastic. That means after the elastic region, it is falling in the plastic region without any strain hardening. So this is the example. This is the basically a perfect elastic plastic material. It is basically called as, okay. And here it is given sigma engineering strain, let it be that it fractures at 0.45, right? 0.45, it fractures at 0.45, right? Then the YS of this material is 450 MPa, right? We'll mark this one, okay. So resilience, now we need to find the ratio of resilience. Resilience is nothing but area under stress strain curve up to YS, and toughness is area under stress strain curve up to fracture, right? So let us find first the resilience. Resilience is area under ABE equal to half A into B, right? So half into, that is elastic strain, into B is sigma. So if you do further calculation, then it will be what? Sigma square by E, since sigma is equal to E upon elastic strain, right? Okay, so we'll calculate this one first, the resilience. The sigma is what? 450 MPa. So 450 square by 2, and elastic modulus is what? Elastic modulus is 4.5 GPa. So 4.5, and it was in MPa, so we'll convert this into MPa, so 10 power 3, okay. So the answer will be, so we will convert this to 450 into 450, so this will be 100, by 2, that is 22.5, right? Now next thing, we will find the toughness. So for toughness, that is area under ABCD, right? Area under ABCD, so that will be area of this triangle ABE, which we have calculated, then area of the rectangle BCDE, right? So we know this value 22.5, and area of BCDE will be what? It will be sigma into the fracture strain minus the elastic strain, right? So we'll first find what is the elastic strain. Sigma is equal to E into elastic strain. Sigma is equal to 450 divided by 4.5 into 10 power 3, that is elastic strain, right? So 100 equal to nothing but 0.1, okay. So we'll put this value equal to 22.5 plus sigma is 450, 0.45 minus 0.1, 22.5 plus 450 into 0.35, that will be plus 157.5, that is equal to 180. So ratio will be what? Of the resilience to toughness will be, the resilience we found in the back sheet, it was 22.5. 22.5 divided by 180, it will be 0.125, and this is your answer. So thank you everyone.